you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the earliest things that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show has been here for 16 years and over 2,400 episodes. They just keep growing as we go, bringing you the most amazing authors, minds, and people that will inspire you, lift you with their stories, etc., etc. Refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. The opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success. Today we're talking to an amazing young man. His newest book is out called The Stable Boy, July 30th, 2024, by Johnathan Otto Ehritz. Is that the correct pronunciation of your last name there, Johnathan?
It's Otto Ehritz.
Otto Ehritz. Johnathan Otto Ehritz. So we'll get into it with him and find out all the deets on his experience, some of the insights that he's put into his book, and all that good stuff. Johnathan took in, let's see, it looks like our bio is popping around here, was diagnosed with autism Asperger's at a very young age. His difference had shown through the infinite imagination and creativity expressed growing up. Now he expresses his ideas through writing, creative, engaging stories with lovable characters and imaginative worlds. He attended Landmark College, where he received his associates and became an honorary student in Phi Theta Kappa. Later, he moved back to Pennsylvania and graduated from Rosemount College with a bachelor's degree in English. When he's not writing, he volunteers at his local church, helping in the children's ministry. He also has experience in theater and drama, performing in plays like Arsenic and Old Lace at Landmark College. He lives with his family in Pennsylvania and working on his next book he wishes to share with the world. Welcome to the show, Johnathan. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Chris. It's a real honor.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you as well. Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Well, if you want to learn more about me and my book, you can look it up at www.jehritz.com. That's JEHRITZ.com.
So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your new book?
My book, The Stable Boy, is a story about a young man with the same name as me, Johnathan. And he's spending his summer vacation over at his uncle's ranch, who is a very bitter man when he first meets him. And when he first comes to his uncle's ranch, he is given the job as a stable boy, meaning he has to take care of the horses. And of course, he is irritated because this wasn't what he planned for his summer vacation, especially work. But eventually he discovers he has the unique ability to talk to the horses. And he uses that ability not just to make friends with the horses, but also to help with his job as a stable boy. And what follows is like a bunch of adventures and of friendship and overcoming one's struggles.
So what was the proponent? This is your first book, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Awesome sauce. Well, congratulations. What was the proponent behind writing this book? How long have you been writing, and what was your kind of journey through life that made you want to be a writer?
Well, like you said, Chris, I was diagnosed with autism at a very young age, or specifically Asperger's, which was considered a more higher functioning form of autism. And because of that, I struggled a lot in life. I struggled a lot at school with my classes, lessons. I had a hard time with my homework. The teachers didn't understand me, and they didn't know how to help me.
Yeah.
And I had a hard time fitting in with my classmates. I became a really big victim in bullying. But I did always have a very vivid imagination, meaning whenever I was struggling with things in life, I would escape into my mind, so to speak, because I always thought of myself as seeing things through a different perspective. But that was also because I was inspired by a lot of the things I was exposed to as a kid, like the books I read or the movies I'd watch on television. And it inspired me in this creative mindset that I've kept for so long, and I still keep to this day. A lot of my inspiration came from like works like Roald Dahl and Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote one of my favorite classic novels in school, Treasure Island. Other inspirations were like the early Disney films, Don Bluth and Hayao Miyazaki, all these different visionaries I learned about growing up. And eventually I got to the point where I was starting to come up with my own ideas, and my parents would suggest I should start writing them down, which is exactly what I did. And so far, in the beginning, I didn't write anything special, just like anything that came to mind. But I learned that even though with my diagnosis, I had a hard time communicating verbally, but I discovered with my writing, I was better at communicating through typing words on a page or paper as opposed to speaking them verbally. So as I continued writing, I eventually did come up with the idea of the Stable Boy. And it was at that point where I knew I wanted to be a writer. And at the point, I thought the Stable Boy was such a good piece that I've created that I never wanted to give up on it. And I promised myself it was going to become a book.
How long have you been writing it then?
Since the 10th grade. That's how long in the making this has been.
Well, sometimes things take longer to cook, but they're usually better that way. It gives some good information to people out there that might be thinking of writing their own books and stuff as to, it's never too late. I think we had somebody who did their first book at like 82 the other day, or 90 or 100 or something. It's never too late, and good to stick with it, right?
Absolutely.
So you got the book written. What's it been like publishing your first book and having that out there in the world?
It opened my eyes to a whole lot of different challenges I faced after writing the books, because once the manuscript was complete, then I started to show it to my friends and family to get their feedback on it. Overall, they thought it was a good story, but then they were bringing to my attention a lot of punctuation, grammar, and spelling errors. And that began the excruciating process of proofreading and revising The Stable Boy over and over again. And it was exhausting sometimes.
Yeah.
Like going over every sentence, looking over every detail. I even remember I took my manuscript over to a writing club at Montgomery County Community College in Bluebell, and they brought to my attention other things that I had to take into consideration: plot structure and pacing, and that included more revision, and it was just like a lot of like work trying to like finalize The Stable Boy up until it got to a point where I thought it was perfect. So after that, I started to send my manuscripts to different publishers that I learned about. And unfortunately, a lot of them have replied with rejections, mostly saying this isn't our genre, this has to change, this isn't right, all these different excuses. And it was getting very disheartening to the point I didn't even know if The Stable Boy was ever going to be a book. I would even pray to God saying, Lord, if I can publish this one book in my life, it would be enough. But as time went on, my faith was starting to lessen. But one of my mother's clients recommended that I should publish my story to Trilogy.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I sent my manuscript to Trilogy Christian Publishing. That's what they're fully called. They're a Christian-based publishing company.
Huh.
And the next day, I got a call back saying that they wanted to publish The Stable Boy. And it was right there that I felt that God answered my prayers. It just felt too good to be true.
Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations, and way to stick through it. There's a lot of rejection that unfortunately comes from doing your own book and stuff. It's not always fun, but it definitely is a character builder of the hardest kind. And editing your book is, of course, having people edit your stuff, and you pour your heart and soul into writing your manuscript and all these words, and in editing, they kind of seem to chop it up, and they just like, well, that was nice, that was really cute what you wrote there, but we threw that away, and we need another 50,000 words. So it's fun, but I think it builds you and makes you better. I mean, it makes your manuscript better, getting that dip of everyone's opinion, and then that just forges a better sword, if you will.
I believe so. And I felt like I learned a lot through this process.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the nice thing is once you get through it too, it makes it easier when you do your future books and stuff like that. So tell us about, flesh more about the characters that are in the book, maybe some of the experiences you can tease out. With novels, you can't give away the middle and ending, of course, but give us a little more detail on some of the characters that are in this book.
All right. Well, of course, there is the protagonist, Johnathan, who is a 14-year-old boy. Same name as me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he's on summer vacation at his uncle's ranch. His uncle Edgar, who's a bitter man in the beginning, but eventually you kind of learn there's like a reason behind that bitterness, and that kind of like slowly develops as the story continues.
Oh.
And he goes through like his own developments too, throughout the story until the very end. And of course, there are the horses. There's Apollo, who's I guess he becomes like Jonathan's best friend in the story, or like his sidekick, you would say. Oh. And he kind of goes through his own struggles as well. And actually, he was never on the ranch to begin with. He kind of starts off as wild. And I guess you can say Johnathan tames him throughout the story.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also Goliath, who is a horse that's really shrouded in mystery in the beginning, and a lot of the other horses are scared of him, and even some of the other staff, because he's a very aggressive horse with another tragic or struggling past that he suffered through. Mm-hmm. Because the whole point of this story is like overcoming one's struggles, especially the inner ones. Because sometimes those are like the hardest ones for us to face in life. Yeah. The inner ones are definitely the hardest. Yeah. Facing ourselves. Yes, of course. And of course, there's also Alita, who is a girl that Johnathan meets later in the story. She is like the daughter of one of the farm hands. There's also Scarlet. She's almost like the mother or the sister of the horses, or like she's like the motherly character of the horses. Oh. And of course you have Maverick, who's like the old wise one of the horses. And so I noticed the characters, Johnathan, which is a mirror of yours. Is there kind of a lot of maybe you in this book play out of a character that you kind of feel is maybe a resemblance of self? Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, even though the book is fiction, I did establish some points in my life in there, specifically living with my diagnosis, being bullied a lot in my struggles in school. And my experience with horseback riding, because that was that was one of the biggest inspirations behind this book was my experience in horseback riding.
Ah.
Because when I was in junior high, there was they gave us an option of extracurricular activities to choose from, and one of them was horseback riding. So I thought I'd join that. And they took us to a place called Thorncroft, where we not only got to learn how to ride the horses, but we also got to learn how to brush them, groom them, clean their horseshoes and their hooves, put on the saddle and the bridle, like the whole fundamentals of taking care of the horse themselves. And it was a very therapeutic experience for me, and I really felt a deep connection with the horses I rode, especially especially with this black mare I knew called Mabel, I think was her name. I mean, the staff told me she was infamously known to be like very aggressive, and she didn't like a lot of people riding her. But the whole time I rode her, she was very calm with me. She did not show one sense of aggression when I rode her.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. And so some of this is part of your journey, kind of put in there, maybe, and all that good stuff. What are you working on next? What are you putting together? I think we teased out that you're doing something too.
Yes. The next book I'm writing is my first attempt at like an epic fantasy. It's the first of a series I'm planning on working on. It's called Legends of Terramore. And it's a lot of and it's mostly inspired by like Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, and Ni no Kuni. I mean, did you want me to give you the summary?
Sure. Well, if you want, I don't know if you want to disclose it or tease out this time, but you're certainly welcome to if you like.
Well, okay, with this story, it's going to follow another boy who actually runs away from home to get away from his struggles, and he ends up finding himself in this fantasy world called Terramore. And he realizes that he's part of a prophecy to defend the land of Terramore from a great evil. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, cool. So what do you hope people come away with when they read your book?
I would like people to be inspired by its message, in which case it's a message of strength, overcoming your own struggles, and seeing that like sometimes the weakest parts of yourself that you perceive may actually be like your strongest aspects. But overall, I would like people to just enjoy my stories. I want to write a good, wholesome story to entertain people. And that's with like the majority of my writing. I just love telling stories to people to entertain them.
Yeah. And that's a great entertainment. We kind of learn through our episodes and other experiences. Would you say that maybe it might be a great book for people on the spectrum too?
Absolutely. And I've actually had a lot of parents that like say when they read the book, it inspires them and gives them hope for their own kids as well. And that actually gives me a lot of joy and comfort knowing that it's helping other kids that were also diagnosed like I was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the more help, the better. I mean, it's, the more help, the better when it really comes down to it. Yeah. So what do you, as people read your books and follow your stuff, you think it would maybe help other people on the spectrum, right? Where it would, they might enjoy it. They might see some of the challenges and identities that you went through, being bullied and stuff like that, and might really help them.
Absolutely. And also, like, again, the parents would get hope from it. And that's a really good thing, because some parents, they become overwhelmed by the process of caring for a child that's on the spectrum, especially ones that are like considered at a more complicated level than kids like me. But this was something I told someone else too, that with with the parents, they can't give up on their kids so easily. They've got to learn to stick with their kids to the end, because that's all these kids have are their parents supporting them and holding their hand throughout this trial that they face on a daily basis. And because really kids that are diagnosed with autism, they struggle harder than the average person, and sometimes that means they require more help. So if there's something I can say to parents is that don't give up on your kids, because they need you and you need them. And if there's one thing I've learned from the Lord, it's that love conquers all. As long as you have love with each other, you can overcome anything.
Yeah, love conquers all. What a good message. We all need to work on, loving each other and being better to each other and all that good stuff. So you're going to be writing more books. What advice would you give to people who want to write a book and maybe, it's their first time and all that good stuff?
Well, I would say that if you're really passionate about it and you really think it is something good, never give up on it, because that was what I got from my experience. Because if there's one thing I've learned, life is full of ups and downs and struggles. It's it's kind of like I guess if you ever read the Odyssey, it took Odysseus years to get home, and that's kind of like the same way with any writer. You might write something, you might think it's good, then you might be pointed out of its flaws and you might have to fix it. And then when you send it to the publisher, you might get rejection after rejection, and it might get disheartening, but don't let it beat you down to the point where you think that you're not good at it. Yeah. Because I think the important thing is you got to believe in yourself and the work that you do. You got to believe that it is good too. Because that's how you find your sense of worth too, is like when you find that skill that you're really good at and you're really passionate about, and you just never give up on it because you feel like that's what makes you you. I mean, when I write something, I always like to believe I'm putting a part of myself in each story that I write, that these stories are part of me.
Well, that's a good message. I mean, we want people to write books. There's lots of people who have stories like yours. I've seen people that are on the spectrum with autism, and there's different venues that they find, or different ways that they find to sometimes express themselves. I mean, sometimes it's playing music through piano or different things. For you, it's writing. I think you're helping people, give some good resources out there if they have children that are having issues with, helping them fit in, helping them deal with school and all those sort of things. If people can maybe use this as a way to take and deal with their issues as well.
Absolutely. I mean, again, if I can help people through my writing, that's great, because it makes me feel good to know that I'm helping people too, not just entertaining people, but helping people. I mean, I'll never forget at one of my my second book signing, a mother and a father came with their teenage son who was also diagnosed, and they said that my story gave them hope for their son.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. And giving hope. I mean, what a beautiful thing. We talk about that on the show. Giving hope to people. Hope is the thing that, hope is the thing that everybody, keeps us alive as a humanity and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, you got to love it. You got to love it. So final thoughts as we go out. Tell people where they can pick up the book, how to order it, .coms. Oh, and I think you had an event you wanted to promote. Should we talk about that real quick?
Of course. Yes. August 9th of this year, I will be attending the Literacy Book Fair in Philadelphia at the Pennsylvania Convention Center within the city. So if anybody would like to get to know me, get a copy of my book signed by me, they're welcome to come, free of admissions.
So people can check you out there, and can they follow you on your website? Is there a newsletter you have or anything like that?
Yes. Again, you can follow me on www.jehritz.com. And my book is available for purchase through Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. And I would just like to make one comment that, like, this definitely wouldn't have been possible without the love and support of my family and my friends or my fellowship at church. So I would like to thank them. But most of all, I would like to thank God himself for making this possible. Because I believe if it wasn't for him, The Stable Boy would have never been a book.
Well, awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. And I'm glad you finally made it happen, and you're on your way, and we'll look forward to the work that you're doing in the future. Thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, and mine too. As well as order up his book wherever fine books are sold, The Stable Boy, out July 30th, 2024, and watch for the future work from Johnathan. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTokity and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have us out. Great.